Hi everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 28th, 2018. I just wanted to check in with all of you. I sat in meditation this morning and asked for guidance, and I was asked to do this video. So here I am. I hope you're having a great day, and I wish you all a happy Easter. I'm in great learning right now around timelines and how they work and how they affect us. And so I wanted to share something that happened last weekend to my husband and I that I know for a fact is a timeline jump. And it was a big one. So just sharing my personal story to assist in learning. So last Thursday we decided we were heading to Emerald Lake to for a couple of days away, and we have a lot of time there. We spend at least 2 weekends away every year, and sometimes longer because I do many retreats there. Anyways, we needed to get away, and I haven't been to the mountains since I got back from Peru, so I felt a pull. And we went and we drove 2 hours from Calgary, and we got there and we parked and we walked around, just connecting into the energy of the lodge and the lake and the mountains, and just taking it all in, just resetting. We walked in the lodge and took a picture, and I posted it on Facebook, and it was all really amazing. And we decided we were staying at a guest house in Field. And so we decided, well, it's still early. Let's go check in there, and then we'll grab a bite to eat, or just, have something there, or just, chill out. Um, and so we're driving, and we turn into Field, and we come to the T intersection where it's not a yield or a stop. It's just keep driving along the train tracks. And there was a train coming, and it was moving. And just as we were turning, there was a guy oncoming to us, and he hit us. And I was watching him, and he was watching the train. He wasn't even watching driving. And my husband was watching his car and not watching him. And he drove right into us. And we exchanged all necessary information. We thought it was a fender bender, really, because yes, we had damage to our vehicle, but it looked okay. And then he had a broken bumper from hitting us, and we drove a block and a half. And by the time we got to our guest house, we knew we weren't driving anymore. Our wheel was broken in, and blah blah blah. It's a story. Anyways, we had to have the car towed, the truck towed to Lake Louise, and then we had to get a rental car, and it was just a hassle. That's the best word I can say. And everyone was okay. The fellow that hit us was definitely physically shaken. By the time he left, I could tell he was very shocky. I kept saying to him, "Are you okay? Is your dog okay?" I just felt really bad for him. And my husband, he was off too. Obviously, he was the one driving. And we got checked in and got some help from the fellow who lives there, who runs the guest house, and it worked out. But I did note a couple of things, and later on, after the shock wears off and you're kind of foggy and you're really not yourself, I recognized I'm not in my own house, and I can't pull on the energy I normally pull on to help myself reset. So that was noticeable. I was like, oh, I've got to clear this house without judgment. It's just people coming in and out of this guest house energy is just different than my home. So I had to clear the house where we were staying in our suite, and then I felt a little bit better. I started to reset, and I just couldn't reset enough to note anything. So finally, the next day, my husband and I sat down, and I said to him, "What was going on for you yesterday?" Because I even noticed you in your reactions to what happened were different. And he said, "Well, the last couple of weeks, I think when I reflect back, I have felt overwhelmed, and just with everything, with work and stress, and just a whole bunch of stuff going on in his world that I'm sometimes not subject to." So I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So he said, "I was really looking forward to this weekend to get away and get a break and not be overwhelmed anymore." So I did do a little bit of meditation around that concept, and sure enough, the young man that hit us, those were the words that came to me. He has been feeling overwhelmed. He was watching the train. He wasn't watching where he was driving. He was out of his body, really. And I think that's why he got so shaky afterwards. He was forced right out of his body when he hit us. And so I sat there, the last few days have been, just the hassle of not having a car because it's still up in field, well, actually Lake Louise. Um, we've had a rental car. We've got to do all the insurance stuff and organize the body shop, which is done. It's happening, but it's extra work. So again, it's in the theme of overwhelm if you're stressed already. And so I the last day or so, I have been doing some clearing work, consistently clearing energies in the house, clearing my husband and clearing me, ensuring that, there's no influences. He's starting to feel better. I had not noticed he was overwhelmed, which again, me not paying attention to where he is at, perhaps. And I recognized that the timeline door that I talk about in my book was overwhelmed. That was the resonance that we had with the young man that hit us. And the resonance of even the energy in the place we were staying, it just didn't feel clear. And so I look at it and I go, we went back to our place in Bragg Creek on Saturday, and that's where we did our biggest reset because the energy in our home is our energy. I manage it, I ensure it's managed, I ensure that everything is good to go there, and I can pull on that energy and absorb that energy, and it helps me reset. And I felt like my husband and I, with the clearing we've been doing and the focusing and the intentions, it's definitely helped us get back into our timeline. So timeline jumping is happening all the time, depending on what doorways you have open, depending on what you're experiencing. And I really feel it's important to understand this. I had a friend, it was kind of funny. I sent her a note about something, and I mentioned the accident, and she said, I just didn't think things like that happened to you guys. I thought you were clear and free of that kind of stuff. Well, shaman operate very differently. We live in a world where we have something happen and then we pay attention and shift the vibration or the resonance of what is happening through ritual and ceremony. And we have to pay attention to things and take ownership of what's happening to us. And even the subtleties now are becoming bigger. So my husband's sense of overwhelm, with stress at work, and that story, the subtlety of that might been very subtle to me and I didn't notice, but to him it was big enough that it affected us, so that the doorway was open so that we could jump into overwhelm timeline completely and fully. And that's what the accident was. So I'm sitting there going, there is just no what's the word? We cannot ignore this. We cannot deny that the world around us is pulling on us all the time. And if we're not in our own vibration, experiencing our own reality, then yes, things like this are going to happen to everyone. It doesn't matter what kind of work you do and how you do it. You are going to be drawn. So I'm really, I'm a student of this technology of timelines. I'm really still understanding how it works in the literal world, even though I wrote a book about it. But again, that book was channeled through me. But I'm now really getting it, that how important it is. It's so important. It's beyond words. And so I wanted to share that message with you today. I'm going to do another video next week on clearing ourselves through a dowsing technique that I've been taught for, I used to teach dowsing years ago, but then I've spent time with dowsers and learned from dowsers, and I've drawn from every one of them and then created my own process. And so that's what I'll share with you next week when I do the video. And I will probably offer more webinars in the next couple of months, or Zoom meetings, and I highly recommend you get on those. So where to see my videos, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which you can click on. When you click on my videos from my website, it will take you to my channel. And if you subscribe, the more subscribers I get, I guess the longer the video I can do. So if you go to my website, www.timelessness.ca, you can see my videos and click on there. This one will be there, obviously. And also you can subscribe from there. Once you're on a video, you'll be on my channel. So please do that. That would help me advance more teachings and share more in the world, even maybe an online workshop. So that's free. Like, I like to do some things that are free. So please help me do that. And second thing is, if you've not read my book, I highly recommend it. It is available via Amazon, Chapters Online, Indigo Online, and directly from the publisher. So you can get on that website through shiftingtimelines.com. Anyways, all the best to all of you. I wish you a fantastic holiday weekend, however you celebrate it. And yeah, pay attention to your timelines. It's worth your time. Big hugs from my angels to yours. Have a super day. Bye for now.